Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, NFL fans around the world, my subscribers, and my peeps on Facebook and everywhere else. It is time for the 2013-2014 Super Bowl prediction. Of course, as we know, it will be the AFC champions, the Denver Broncos, and the NFC champions, the Seattle Seahawks, this Sunday night, live from MetLife Stadium at the Meadowlands Sports Complex in East Rutherford, New Jersey, with the kickoff being scheduled around 6:25 p.m. Now, this would be the first Super Bowl to be played outdoors in a cold weather environment. The first played on February 2nd. The first to be played outdoors on artificial turf, in this case, field turf, since Super Bowl X at the Miami Orange Bowl. And the first in which two U.S. states, New York and New Jersey, were sharing hosting duties. It is also the first time since Super Bowl XLIV, and just the second time in the past 20 years, or 20 seasons, that the number one seeds from each conference will meet to decide the championship. The game will feature the league's top defense, Denver, versus the top defense in Seattle. We'll also feature two former division rivals as Seattle played for the AFC West from 1977 to 2001. Both of these types of matchups have not occurred since the 2002 Super Bowl, when it was the Oakland Raiders taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, ironically enough, this has got some weird, of course, as many of you know, this was the number one choice, as the other two will be in Tampa Bay and Miami. Right now, it looks like that may have been a good choice, depending on the weather. So who knows? It's still, who knows? This could be Saturday or Monday or Tuesday. No, I don't think it's going to happen. Now, ironically enough, this Super Bowl has some nicknames. The Weed Bowl, the Bong Bowl, the Marijuana Bowl, being the most ones used from users of social network and websites and all that. As this is the first Super Bowl where the home states of the Seahawks and Broncos, Washington and Colorado respectively, were the first two states to legalize, of course, marijuana. That's why it's got all those weird names. Now, the Seahawks finished 13-3, so did Denver this year as well. Now, ironically enough, if you take a look at the Seattle, so let's talk about how Seattle got there this year. During the preseason, they won all 4 games. As you know, preseason usually does not mean no much, as you know. But anyway, let's take a look at their season. During the regular season, they defeated the Carolina Panthers 12-17 in Week 1. They would then defeat the 49ers in Week 2. Week 3, they would destroy the Jaguars. Week 4, they would beat Houston in overtime. Week 5, they would finally lose their first game of the year, losing to the Indianapolis Colts 28-34 in what was considered a heartbreaker by some. Then Seattle would bounce back, getting wins over Tennessee, Arizona, the Rams, the Bucks, the Falcons, and the Vikings before heading into the bye in Week 12. Week 13, they would beat the New Orleans Saints. Unfortunately, in Week 14, they would fall to their rival, the 49ers, 19-17. Week 15, they would destroy the Giants, 23-10. Week 16, Arizona would get the big upset, winning 17-10. But in Week 17, Seattle would clinch what they needed to do and beat the Rams, 27-9, to clinch the number one seed, which we will talk about the players for them in a little bit. Now, as far as for the Denver Broncos season, they had a lot of things go down. Of course, they did lose Mike McCoy, who went on to become the head coach of the Chargers. So there's that. Yay. Yeah. You can tell that nobody cared. Seriously, to be honest. And of course, Von Miller had his suspension earlier this year, which should not surprise anybody on that. Of course, Peyton Manning's still the quarterback, but let's take a look at how the season and preseason went. Preseason, they went 2-2. During the regular season, they would get wins over the Ravens, the Giants, the Raiders, the Eagles, my Cowboys, and the Jaguars in the first 6 weeks. They would lose to Indianapolis in Week 7, and it was probably one of the best Sunday night games of the year. Week 8, they would beat the Redskins before heading into the bye. After that, they would defeat San Diego and Kansas City. Week 12, they would lose a heartbreaker to New England, but Week 13, they would bounce back and beat Kansas City and the Tennessee Titans. Week 15, the Chargers would get a surprise upset, and then then they would beat Houston and Oakland in the final 2 weeks, giving Denver the 13-3 record as well. Now, as far as for the playoffs, let's see how that went. In the playoff seeds, Denver was number 1, followed by New England, Cincinnati, the Colts, Kansas City, and San Diego. In the NFC, it was the Seahawks, Panthers, Eagles, Packers, Niners, and the New Orleans Saints. In the wild card games, as we saw, the Indianapolis Colts defeated Kansas City 45-44. New Orleans defeated the Eagles 26-24. Then, of course, January 5th, San Diego got the big upset over Cincinnati, and San Francisco was able to beat Green Bay by hook or crook. Then in the divisional round, Seattle destroyed the New Orleans Saints, showing why they are the number 1 defense, 23-15. While the New England Patriots destroyed the Colts, 43-22. Then on the other 2 games, the 49ers destroyed the Panthers, and the Broncos shocked out the Chargers. And then, of course, the AFC game, Denver defeated New England. Denver showed up. Patriots did not show up to the 4th quarter, but a little too late. And Seattle showed again why they are the number 1 defense, beating the 49ers 23-17. Of course, like I said, the Super Bowl is this Sunday. Of course, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman will be your play-by-play and color commentator. Game weather right now, if you're looking at the weather report, it looks like it's going to be in the low, somewhere between the 30s and 20s. Which brings me to this. Peyton Manning, great player. No doubt on that. He's a great player. Unfortunately, little weird fact here, because I was doing my research, you know. Apparently, and this is believe it or not, while Peyton Manning's had a great season, playoff-wise, he's not been that good in the Super Bowl. He is, of course, 1-1. He won one with the Colts and lost one with the Colts. So there's that. Now, of course, Denver is considered a favorite technically because they have more experienced players who have been in the, you know, and all that. So yeah, but here's the thing. His cold weather games where the games have been below 40, okay? Below 40 degrees. Which is funny, and this is why I bring it up. The Denver Broncos are a little steamed over this because Peyton Manning's critics that the 4-time MVP crumbles in the cold. Now Manning, who spent his first 14 seasons playing his home games inside a dome in Indianapolis, has a 3-7 career record, including playoffs and games in which the temperature at kickoff was 32 degrees or below. In all other games, he's 170-76. Now, with the Broncos, Manning has lost 2 notable cold weather games at home in double overtime against Baltimore in the playoffs and overtime at Foxborough. 2 weeks ago, he also beat Kansas City in a cold weather at home last season. Now, the forecast for Sunday's game is supposed to be cold, very cold. So that's what plays a key factor here to me. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't doubt Peyton Manning. But he does have a trend of playing not great when it's cold. And this is going to be very cold. You know, they're expecting snow. I'll be shocked if it gets above the 30 degrees because, you know, kickoff start time, it's supposed to be like in the low 30s. But once the game is starting, getting interesting and all that, it's supposed to be in the 20s. So the weather plays a key factor here for me. Of course, and like I said, it is Denver's number 1 offense taking the number 1 defense on. So when you're making this pick, if you're taking Denver, you're taking their offense. If you're taking Seattle, you're taking their defense. For Seattle to win this game, I think offensively they're going to have to they're going to have to play lights out on offense. They're going to have to get touchdowns or at least get in field goal range because even 3 points is better than 0. Now my official pick is Seattle. I trust their defense. I've always believed that defense wins you championships. And I think the weather will play a key factor in this game. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of running. It's going to be a lot of passing. So it's going to be depending on the Seattle corners to see if they can step up. But like I said, my pick is Seattle. Let me know what you think of my pick. Do you agree or disagree with my Super Bowl prediction? And until next NFL season, I will see you guys next NFL season. Of course, unless you are subscribed to me, please hit that subscribe button where you can watch me do video game reviews and Let's Plays. I got the NBA playoffs and March Madness coming up in a few more months. Of course, Stanley Cup, and of course, we got the baseball right around the corner. So you know I ain't going to be done with sports yet. Till next time, this is the DOUG signing off saying have a good day, enjoy the Super Bowl, and good luck to your two teams if they're in it. If they're not, well, I will see you next season. Woo!